Your cat just licked your hand and then sank its teeth in, and you have no idea why. Most people assume it's random, a mood swing, just cat things. But every single one of these behaviors has a precise explanation rooted in biology, survival, and something much more personal than you'd expect. 14 behaviors, one answer that most cat owners never figure out. And the final one, the lick then bite, is the one that's going to reframe everything you thought you understood about your cat. Stay until the end, it's worth it. Let's start with something you've probably felt on your lap 100 times and never fully understood. Your cat finds a spot on your knees or on a blanket, settles in, and begins pressing its front paws down in a slow, alternating rhythm. Sometimes the claws come out. Sometimes there's a low, rumbling purr. Sometimes the eyes go half-closed and distant, like it's somewhere else entirely. This is called kneading, and it doesn't start in adulthood. It starts in the first hours of life. Newborn kittens press against their mother's belly in exactly this rhythm to stimulate milk flow. The movement becomes hardwired to the deepest sense of safety a cat will ever know. Warmth, nourishment, no threat in the world. When your adult cat kneads, it isn't thinking about milk. It's slipping back into that state. And if it's kneading on you specifically, that means something. You've become the emotional equivalent of that original safe place. Not a substitute, an extension. If the claws are uncomfortable, slide a folded blanket underneath. But don't try to stop the behavior. For your cat, this is one of the purest moments in its entire day. Now, here's one that's easy to miss if you're not paying attention. Your cat is across the room, lying on the back of the couch, and it's watching you. You hold its gaze for a moment, and then, slowly, deliberately, its eyes close and open again. No urgency, no tension, just that one long, unhurried blink. Researchers who study feline communication call this the slow blink, and it functions as a trust signal. In a world where closing your eyes in front of another creature means you're completely exposed, a cat that blinks slowly in your direction is making a deliberate statement. It's saying it doesn't consider you a threat. It's saying you're inside the circle. A study published in Scientific Reports confirmed this. Cats shown slow blinks by humans were more likely to approach and make contact afterward. You can answer back. Relax your face, soften your gaze, and blink slowly toward your cat. If it returns the blink, you've just had a full conversation. No words, just eyes. Now for one that drives people absolutely insane. Your cat jumps up onto the counter, walks past 3 things it could knock over, stops at a specific glass, extends one paw, and slowly, calmly pushes it off the edge. Watches it fall, walks away. This isn't chaotic, it's methodical, and it's driven by 2 completely separate impulses that happen to produce the same result. The first is predatory. Cats are hardwired to test objects. Does it move? Does it react? Is it alive? The paw tap before the push is the same motion a cat uses to check if prey is still dangerous. The second is social. Cats learn fast, and what your cat has learned is that when something hits the floor, you appear immediately, your voice gets louder, and your energy spikes. From its perspective, it found a guaranteed way to pull you into the room. The fix isn't punishment, it's removing the reward. The less dramatically you react, the less interesting the behavior becomes. And here's one that surprises almost everyone the first time they hear it. You're at the vet. Your cat is clearly stressed. Tense shoulders, flat ears, wide eyes. And it's purring. Not quietly, loudly. People assume purring means contentment, but that's only half the story. Purring operates in a frequency range between 25 and 150 Hz. Research into vibroacoustic therapy has shown that frequencies in this range can accelerate bone repair, reduce inflammation, and lower pain thresholds. Your cat isn't purring because it's fine. It's purring because it's running an internal repair mechanism. This is why cats statistically recover from fractures faster than dogs of comparable size. They generate therapeutic vibration from inside their own chest. So when your cat purrs during a vet visit or retreats to a corner and purrs after an injury, don't assume everything is okay. Watch the rest of its body. If it's hiding, moving strangely, or refusing food alongside that purr, get it checked. Drop a number in the comments right now. How many of your cat's behaviors from this list have you personally witnessed? One word or a number is enough. And if you're finding this useful, hitting subscribe takes about 2 seconds. The next one is so consistent across cats of every breed and personality that researchers have started using it in shelter studies. You set a cardboard box on the floor. Within 60 seconds, your cat is inside it. The box is too small. It doesn't matter. The cat is in the box. The behavior isn't random or cute, it's functional. Enclosed spaces press against a cat's body from multiple sides, which activates pressure receptors under the skin and produces a measurable calming effect, similar to the way weighted blankets work for humans under stress. At the same time, a box with walls means nothing can approach from behind. For an animal that evolved as both predator and prey, that kind of positional security is deeply valuable. A Dutch study conducted in animal shelters found that cats given access to cardboard boxes adapted to new environments significantly faster than cats without them. Their stress hormone levels dropped sooner. Their social behavior returned earlier. Don't throw the box out. It's not clutter to your cat. It's a fortress. Now pay attention to this next one. It's one of the most misread signals in feline body language. Your cat is completely still. It's watching something, a bird outside the window, a toy on the floor, your hand moving slowly toward it. Everything is motionless except the tip of its tail, which is ticking left and right in a small, tight rhythm. Most people ignore this completely. They shouldn't. Tail tip movement in cats is not the same as tail wagging in dogs. In dogs, a wagging tail is often enthusiasm. In cats, that same movement signals internal tension. Focus at the edge of tipping into agitation. The tighter and faster the movement, the closer the cat is to a threshold. If the tip flick widens into full sweeping swings of the entire tail, the cat is no longer relaxed. It's preparing to discharge that tension through a bite or a swat. If you're in the middle of petting your cat and you catch that tail starting to tick, stop. Your cat has already been asking you to stop for several seconds. The tail is the last warning before the message gets physical. Here's something that looks almost supernatural the first time you see it. Your cat is at the window. There's a bird or a squirrel on the other side of the glass. Your cat is frozen, staring, and then it opens its mouth and produces this rapid, stuttering sound, a mix between teeth chattering and a suppressed chirp, almost mechanical in its rhythm. This is called chattering, and the explanation comes from deep in feline hunting mechanics. Cats have a precise killing reflex, a rapid bite to the back of the neck that severs the spinal cord. When a cat locks onto prey it can't reach, its brain begins preparing the jaw for that exact motion. The chattering sound is those jaw muscles firing in anticipation with nothing to connect to. It's a hunter rehearsing a move it can't execute. If your cat chatters frequently at the window, that's information. It has hunting energy with no outlet. Wand toys, unpredictable rolling toys, puzzle feeders, anything that mimics the movement of prey will help redirect that drive productively. Now let's talk about the greeting ritual that almost everyone misinterprets. You walk through the door, your cat meets you in the hallway, pushes its head into your shin, drags its cheek along your ankle, sometimes weaves around both legs before finally looking up at you. It looks like affection. It is affection, but it's also something more specific. Cats have scent glands concentrated in the cheeks, temples, and chin. When your cat rubs these areas against you, it's transferring pheromones, invisible chemical markers that other cats can read. What it's marking you as is safe, known, belonging to this space. This is the same behavior cats use with each other in stable social groups. It's the feline equivalent of publicly claiming someone as part of your circle. The appropriate response is to press your fingers gently under its chin and rub. You're completing the exchange. One of the small moments that actually matters to your cat, even if it looks like nothing from the outside. The next behavior is one that can genuinely startle you if you've never seen it before, and what's behind it is stranger than most people expect. Your cat comes home and drops something at your feet. A mouse, half a bird, a large insect it's very proud of. It looks up at you. There are two explanations for this, and both probably operate at the same time. The first is that your cat perceives you as a poor hunter and is attempting to provide for you, the same way a mother cat brings prey to kittens who haven't yet learned to hunt for themselves. The second is simpler and more territorial. Your cat brought the kill to the safest location it knows, which is your home, because that's where prey gets consumed without risk. Either way, this is not aggression toward you. This is your cat performing an act of genuine care by its own logic. Reacting with horror confuses it. A calm acknowledgement, even just a quiet word, and then removing the animal without drama is the right move. And prepare yourself, because if the behavior earned a calm response, it will happen again. Here's one that raises a lot of eyebrows and generates a lot of text messages to friends at 2 in the morning. You wake up and realize your cat has arranged itself directly on top of your head. Not beside you, not at your feet, on your pillow, pressed against your scalp, sometimes with one paw draped across your forehead. It had access to the entire bed. It chose this exact spot. Both reasons are practical. The human head releases more heat than almost any other part of the body during sleep. Cats are highly thermosensitive, and your scalp is essentially a heated surface. On top of that, your hair holds more of your personal scent than anywhere else on your body. For a cat navigating its world primarily through smell, sleeping pressed against the source of your strongest scent is the equivalent of being completely surrounded by someone it trusts. Heat plus closeness. It's efficient. If it disrupts your sleep, move the cat gently. If it doesn't bother you, recognize what it means. Your cat selected the single highest trust sleeping position available to it. Now this next one. This is the one people send me the most voice messages about, half laughing and half genuinely unsettled. Your cat freezes, head up, eyes wide, pupils dilated. It stares into a corner of the room where there is absolutely nothing. No sound, no movement, nothing. And it just stays there, tracking something you cannot perceive. There's no mystery here. There's just a sensory gap between species. A cat's hearing reaches frequencies up to 65 kilohertz. Human hearing tops out at around 20. That means your cat can hear a rodent moving inside your walls, the ultrasonic hum of an appliance malfunctioning, a bat outside, or pipes shifting under vibration that never registers in your consciousness at all. Its vision in low light is roughly 6 times more sensitive than yours. The corner you see as empty is not empty to your cat. It's full of data. If the cat looks relaxed while watching, it's just observing. If the ears go flat, the fur rises, or it backs away, something is actually there. Check for pests. And then there's the one that genuinely baffles people every single time. Everything is calm. Your cat is on the couch, settled, eyes half closed, and then in one instant, it's gone. Sprinting full speed through the hallway, launching off a wall, sliding across the kitchen floor, ricocheting back, and then stopping dead in the middle of the room, looking slightly confused about what just happened. This is called a FRAP, a frenetic random activity period. It happens because domestic cats are carrying a nervous system built for animals that spend several hours per day in active pursuit of prey. When that drive doesn't get a real outlet, the energy accumulates. At a certain threshold, the system releases it all at once. It tends to cluster at dawn and dusk, the natural hunting windows for wild cats. This isn't a problem. It's a pressure valve functioning as intended. Clear the path if you can, and let it finish. 30 seconds later, your cat will find you and act as though nothing unusual occurred. This next one crosses into territory that feels almost symbolic when you understand what's actually driving it. Your cat finishes eating, steps back from the bowl, and begins scraping at the floor around it. Sometimes it paws at the mat underneath, sometimes it tries to drag a nearby cloth over the top of the bowl. It looks like it's trying to bury its food. It is. In the wild, cats that left food scraps exposed were broadcasting their location to every predator in the area. The instinct to cover the remains is a survival behavior that's been running for millions of years. Your domestic cat doesn't need to hide from anything, but the ancient code doesn't know that. The behavior tends to intensify when the food bowl is placed in an open, high-traffic area where your cat feels exposed while eating. Moving the bowl to a quieter corner, somewhere with a wall behind it, often reduces or eliminates the behavior entirely. The cat's nervous system relaxes when it doesn't feel watched from every direction. And now we arrive at the behavior that opened everything. The one that's been waiting since the first sentence. Your cat is on your lap. It's purring. It starts licking your hand, slow, methodical, focused. And you're thinking this is the most peaceful moment of the day. And then it bites you. Not hard enough to break skin usually, but hard enough to be unmistakable. And then it goes right back to purring like nothing happened. There are two mechanisms behind this, and they almost always operate together. The first is sensory overload. A cat's skin contains nerve endings that register touch differently than ours. Repetitive stroking eventually crosses a threshold from pleasant to genuinely irritating without any clear external warning. The cat's nervous system hits a limit and discharges the accumulated stimulation through a bite. Before that happens, signals appear. The tail tip starts to move, the muscles in the back tighten slightly, the ears rotate back. Most people miss all three. The bite is not unpredictable, we're just not watching for the warnings. The second mechanism is social bonding behavior. In cat colonies, mutual grooming between close companions typically ends with a light bite. It's the natural punctuation of the exchange, a signal that the session is complete. When your cat licks and then bites you, it may not be losing patience at all. It may be treating you exactly the way it would treat its closest companion, grooming you and then signing off the way cats do. The combination isn't a mood swing, it's a complete social ritual, beginning and end included. Now you have the full picture, 14 behaviors. 1 through 13 tells you how your cat experiences the world. Temperature, security, energy, communication, ancient instinct running under the surface of every ordinary moment. But the 14th one tells you something different. It tells you where you fit. When your cat licks you and then bites you, it's not malfunctioning. It's including you in something it only shares with cats it actually trusts. That's not nothing. That's a lot. If this changed how you're going to read your cat's behavior, leave a comment with the behavior from this list that your cat does most. Even just the number is enough. I read every one. And if you want more breakdowns like this one, subscribing means you won't miss the next one. One last question before you go. Does your cat do the lick and bite, or does it just lick and walk away? Tell me below. I'm genuinely curious which one is more common.